My name is Caitlin Reiner. I am a physical therapist assistant here at the Hayward Area Memorial Hospital. I work in the Rehab Services Department, and I'm also certified in ergonomics. So today we're going to talk about back safety and ergonomics. So I always like to start with the question, why do I have to worry about my back if I don't have any back problems? And the main reason is because if you do get a back problem, it hurts to move, so then people usually stop moving. So then they get stiff, and then they get weak, and it's just this vicious cycle that goes round and round. So obviously we want to avoid the cycle altogether whenever possible, which is why we're going to talk about back safety. But it's also easier to get out of the cycle or break the cycle when you're stronger going into the cycle and you're more aware of your back. But how many times have we sat like this or we've seen someone sit like this? And so the point is that our world's not set up to promote back safety. So we have to be really aware of our backs. Contributing factors to back pain are poor posture and body mechanics, weak core muscles, heavy lifting, long times of sitting or standing, lots of bending, repetitive motions, stress, lack of activity, twisting, and reaching for objects. The first part of back safety I like to talk about is lifting. The main point with this picture is if you were to lift a 10-pound object and you hold it close to yourself and you lift it with proper body mechanics, it puts 10 pounds of force through your back. If you were to lift the object further away from your body or bend to lift it or lift it incorrectly in any way, it actually multiplies the weight of the object by 10. So then you have 100 pounds of force going through your back for a 10-pound object. So we're going to go over the proper way to lift something. This is Amy. She's going to help us. So the first thing you want to do is get close to the object that you're going to lift. Perfect. You want to stand about shoulder width apart with your feet. Good. And you want to use your tummy muscles, your butt muscles, and your leg muscles because you want to lift with your legs and not your back. So Amy, I'm going to have you tighten your tummy muscles, your butt muscles, and your leg muscles. Okay. You're going to squat down just a little bit to get to the box. Perfect. And then when you lift the box, I want you to keep it close to you so you're not reaching. And avoid any twisting or quick motions or bending when you lift. Whenever possible, you do actually want to avoid lifting. So turning an object, rolling an object, or pivoting an object requires less work from you than lifting an object. Whenever you can, you want to avoid lifting. And one of the ways to do that would be to use a cart instead of carrying an object down the hall, for example. Okay, so it's always easier for you to push a cart than it is to pull a cart. I also advise people to assess the weight of what you're lifting before you lift it. So a great example is a UPS driver. They could have a really small box that weighs 25 pounds, and then they could have a big box that weighs 5 pounds. So they don't know the weight of what is in the box until they assess it before they lift it. Now, people are a little bit more revealing in nursing settings. But if you do need help with a lift, please get help. So help looks different in different environments. So if you're in like nursing or direct patient care, sometimes that means adjusting the height of the bed or using a gait belt. You want to transfer people to their stronger side. Using a walker or having another person help you. In different settings, maybe it's using a cart to bring a box of paper down the hall instead of carrying it. Using a step stool to reach higher shelves, things like that. So basically, I tell people, think of it as selfishly as possible. What in your environment, whether it's equipment or other people, can help keep you and your back as well as the patient as safe as possible. So the other thing that we like to look at is what's called power zones. So you want to do the most of your work between your shoulders and your waist as far as your height. That recommendation is not only for lifting, but any frequency of work. So if someone has repetitive work that they have to do during their day, we still want them between their shoulders and their waist. The second recommended area is from your waist to your knees. So you definitely want to avoid anything above shoulder height and definitely below your knees. So an example of this would be an employee who is of shorter stature, around 5'4", for example, needs to get a box off of the top shelf of a storage rack. So the wrong way for this employee to do that would be that they stand on their tippy toes and they're reaching over their head to get the box off the shelf. The correct way would be that the employee uses a step ladder or asks an employee of taller stature to get the box. Why it's the wrong way is because you're at higher risk for injury because you're outside the recommended safe zone. The correct way would be to be in the safer zone and would decrease your risk for injury. So the wrong way to get in and out of a car, which is what most people do, is they open their door and they stand on one leg and they kind of hike their one hip up onto the seat and slide themselves in. The correct way to do it would be to open the door and sit with your butt on the seat first and then pull both of your legs in at the same time. Why is this the correct way? Because it keeps your back and your hips as straight as possible. The wrong way, you're putting all of your weight through one leg while twisting, pivoting, and bending. Another life example is vacuuming. So the wrong way to vacuum is people that stand in one place and they move the vacuum in multiple different directions. Kind of looks like a star on the floor. The correct way is to follow the direction of the vacuum with your feet. So I have a saying that rhymes to help people remember this. It's your nose and your toes go where the vacuum goes. So as long as your face and your feet are planted in the direction of the vacuum, it's usually the correct way. So why is the wrong way wrong? Because you're bending and twisting, and the correct way is because you're keeping your back as straight as possible. Ergonomics, what is it and what's the goal? So ergonomics, the word, literally means the study of work. So ergonomics can be completed in a single user station or multi-user station. The main thing we look for with ergonomics is adjustability. And the goal of ergonomics is setting up a worker in their work environment in the best and safest positions to minimize injury and musculoskeletal discomfort. So general rules for ergonomics when you're in sitting is you basically want everything as straight as possible and as neutral as possible, meaning you want your back straight and supported, your knees straight out from your hips, and your feet flat and supported on the floor. The biggest thing that I've noticed in the hospital as a problem is that people aren't supporting their forearms while they're working. So their arms are out straight, and that causes a lot of neck and shoulder pain and or carpal tunnel syndrome. You want to definitely make sure your forearms are supported, whether it's on your armrests or on the work surface that you're working with. You also want your wrists as neutral as possible, and you want your monitor at a height that allows your neck to be neutral. If you would like to reach out to me for an ergonomics assessment, you can request that through Healthcare Safety Zone, email, or phone. Welcome to the hospital, and we're glad you're here.